Hello, welcome to Sound and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I'm Tina. Today it is my wrap up for June and my TBR for July. June absolutely flew by. I honestly can't even tell you what happened in June in my life because it just went so fast. I can't believe this. One of the things we did do is we bought a canoe. That was fun. So we're going to be using that hopefully a lot more in the summer. Well, not a lot more since we just bought it, but anyway. We also have a gazebo in our backyard now. That's nice because it's really hot back there. And I went on a trip with my sisters, so that was fun. Yeah, kind of a low key, month. Also, it's been extremely hot here. We've been going through a heat wave, and then there's all these thunderstorms. It's wild. Yay, climate change. I have a pretty low key summer, which is nice. I'm going to be going away for a week in July, but I have videos scheduled for it, so don't worry. Oh, and guess what? You know that cross stitch that I was doing? You know, the one that had a little bookshelf? I can't show you it. I was going to show you kind of my update, but I lost it along with my good scissors. Where did it go? Apparently I left it at that cottage I just mentioned, but I know I put it in my bag. I asked my sister, she said, yeah, I saw you put it in your bag. And so she emailed the Airbnb and was like, can you look for it? And they probably just didn't. They probably just threw it out. I'm so pissed off about this. I put so much effort into it. Anyway, I'm probably going to go to Michael's and buy another cross-stitch wire thing and more thread and more cross-stitch paper or whatever the heck it is, the fabric. Anyway, I'm very annoyed. So, yeah. What did I read in June? Let's get into that. I read 8 books. That's all. I'm going to list them in order of how they are ranked and tell you what they're about. So, the first book or like the lowest ranked book would be Through the Reality Warp. This is a classic sci-fi, mainly because while the story is fine, it's entertaining, it's a quick read. The main character is an absolute dick, and the plot is kind of stupid. Anyway, you can check out my review of that from last week. It's pretty funny because I kind of go like this a lot. The next would be Memoirs of a Synth. This was one of the SPSF 3 reads. It was good. I enjoyed it. It didn't really blow me away. Same with 3 Grams of Elsewhere. Again, good, solid book. Very interesting. Had some cool concepts, but I found it was a bit slow. And so, yeah, not like, again, my favorite book of the month. Next was Rake's Fall. This was a very interesting kind of like literary sci-fi fantasy. Dealt with a lot of kind of philosophical concepts. I believe I reviewed it yesterday, at least in terms of, hopefully I'll be scheduling these videos on time. If so, then I reviewed it yesterday. Next we have The Annual Migration of Clouds and We Speak Through the Mountain, which are 2 books that are connected. They're, they follow the same story. I really liked these. I thought they're fantastic. I gave them like 5-star reads. I think they're really, really good. They're Canadian. They're novellas. They're post-apocalyptic. They're very, very fun if you like that genre and you don't want to be like triggered by like, sexual violence or lots of blood and guts. It's a quieter apocalypse book, and it's also really good and very beautifully written. So I really, really liked those. Next we have Masquerade, which is set in West Africa in the 15th century, I believe, and it follows this young woman who's a blacksmith as she gets like taken by the king and he wants to marry her, and she's like, no way, man, I gotta figure out what your deal is first. But then the deal is that there's a corruption of power thing kind of happening. So anyway, it's really, really interesting, really good. The details and the kind of historical fiction aspect of it are really, really well done. I highly recommend it. It's really fast-paced too. I just like flew through it. Then we have Kenai, which was the winner of the SPSF 3. I like to think that I hopefully contributed to that because I rated this book extremely highly. I really, really loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I plan on buying it, a physical copy. Yeah, it's so good. It's about this space marine who's on this weird planet, and just this weird time dilation stuff starts happening, and it's really, really fascinating. There's some really cool aliens in it. It's just neat, it's a neat book. Lastly, and this was hard because I really loved Kenai as well, but Smother Moss was my favorite book of the month. Took me absolutely by surprise. I couldn't stop reading it. I absolutely loved it. It has like everything that I love in kind of folk horror. Yeah, so definitely check that book out. Check out Kenai as well. Check out Masquerade. Check out all the books. Maybe not Through the Reality Warp. You can pass that one. But yeah, so those are all the books I read this month, and a really good swathe of them. Now, What am I reading next month in July? I am reading, again, and this is my Tina doesn't remember what books are about, so I'm going to guess thing. The West Passage. This is about, it's like a medieval fantasy about people trying to get through a passage. Yeah, I don't know. Next is Ninth Life. This, I know what this is about. So this is about, this is the third book in the Ten Low. I don't know if there's a series name, but anyway, the book Ten Low. It's book 3. It follows a character from the first book who has a bit of an appearance in the second book, and I'm really excited because she was my favorite character. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. I also have The Haunting of Hecate Cavendish. Ghost story, I think. I think it had kind of 18th century vibes to it. I don't know. I will have to let you know in my review. Then we have Long Live Evil. I have no clue what this is about. I keep seeing, is it Orbit? I think it's Orbit. Keeps posting these pictures on their Instagram about it, and I'm just like, okay, I need to read this soon so I know what these pictures mean. It's a fantasy for sure. Asunder. I was really excited for this one when I first heard about it, and now I have no clue what it's about. I'm pretty sure it's a sci-fi though. I'm going to read a classic sci-fi, probably when I'm on vacation. I'm going to read either The Null Frequency Impulsor. Look at this wild boy. Or I'm going to read Galactic Effectuator, which is also wild. Look at this dude. I'm also might be reading The Doppelganger Gambit. We'll see. I just know that this one has racial equality and women in it, so maybe I'll read it for a nice breath of fresh air. And there's also Doris Picer-Chia, I can never say her name right, The Spinner, which looks like Mario versus Venom. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to be reading one of those 3. For the Interstellar Book Club pick this next month, what is it? It is Unwieldy Creatures. I don't know what this is. One of the Interstellar Book Club members really, really likes it though. So she kind of forced us to read it, which is fine. So I'll be reading that. There's a very special Predator book that, well, you'll have to wait to see what it's all about because I'm very excited to read this one. I'm so excited by this. You can't imagine how excited I am to be reading this book. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, but if you have followed my channel, you might have heard me mention it before. Yeah, I'm so stoked. I'm also going to be reading some random books because at the cottage I tend to read kind of weird off-genre books for me. So I've got a stack here. We'll see which one I pick or ones I pick. So there's this one called Wild Geese. It's a Canadian book. Apparently, it's a poignant evocation of loneliness which, like the call of the wild geese, is beyond human warmth, beyond tragedy, and endless quest. I have no freaking clue what this is. Apparently, it is set on the prairies, which is kind of neat. I have The Boatman's Daughter, which is a horror book. I had got this randomly at a used bookstore, I think, so I might be reading this. I like to kind of read horror on vacation. I also have a very thin Thomas Hardy novel. Apparently it is his most greatly loved and gentlest book. We'll see. It's about the Longvers Pastoral Society of early Victorian England. I might have to tease Mr. Hardy about this a bit. And then I found this at a yard sale. It is called The Secret of the Forest. I absolutely love the font. I don't know what this is. Apparently there's a secret and there's a forest. Unless it's a metaphor. I will let you know. I will probably read this one. It's kind of wild. I love these kind of weird, kind of coverless, strange books. I find them at yard sales all the time and for $1. I have a collection of them on the top of my bookshelf. I've got about 20 of them. I've read maybe 4. Because some of them were hard to get into, but every time I start reading one of them, I tend to really like it. So I might be reading one of those as well. So yeah, I also have audiobook going on. I don't know which audiobook I'm going to be reading. There's Alien Clay. I might actually pick that one up and start reading that because I love Adrian Tchaikovsky. So yeah, that's what I'm doing in July. Let me know what you're doing in July, book-wise or otherwise. Are you in a climate that is allows you to go outside and have fun, or are you in a heat wave and you have to stay in your house? Let me know. Anyway, thank you.